I'm going to teach you a big secret that we use to scale brands. And if you actually watch the full thing and you actually learn what I'm about to teach you, you will either make more money or be able to charge more if you work as a freelancer. How we scale brands is part what we do in the ad account, part what we do for creative. But the other part is we look at and measure what actually matters. There's actually a book called Measure What Matters. Same premise is that we know exactly the right metrics to look at that tells us when to scale. And we often are asked, how do you guys scale? And I ask all these questions because those people don't know what I'm about to teach you. Because if you know the right numbers to look at or metrics, you should be asking yourself, how can I but not scale? It's literally telling you when it's time to scale. It's telling you what to fix. It's telling you where is the problem. And I want to teach you how we look at things. So make sure you watch the entire video, because if you don't, you're going to be missing the crucial metrics that we use to scale brands so predictably. All right, let's dive in. We like to use a few tools. Yes, we use Triple Whale. Yes, we use Adriel. But personally, I love to see my metrics on a daily basis in a table. The reason why is because you can spot trends much easier. And I like to look at it every single day. I like to see the spikes. I like to see the troughs, because it allows me to see when I make changes daily or intraday when it impacts performance. And we use every single metric across every single day in this format. So what are the metrics that we follow? All right, so there's kind of three ways of thinking. Now, we have three main different buckets that help us to know when is it time to kill something, when is it time to scale something, and what are the metrics we look at that give us what I call the directional confirmation. Meaning, hey, yes, everything is going exactly as you think and everything is going exactly as you plan. And looking at it from these three different dimensions, it tells us, hey, everything's going perfect, just keep pushing money, or hey, there's a problem, let's stop and fix it. All right, so for in-platform kill rules, here's the metrics that we follow. ROAS and CPA. We look at ROAS. It's not the everything to us, but we also look at the CPA, because a lot of our brands do have really strict CPA constraints. So that's just for in-platform, when to kill ads, when to kill ad sets, when to kill campaigns, right? We don't use it to make scaling decisions, but we do scale to MER or contribution profit. That's what that is, contribution profit. The reason why is that takes into account the entire business as a whole. I'll teach you what that is here in a few moments. And then we get directional confirmation from these metrics. AMER, which is acquisition MER, percentage of new customer revenue, new customer CPA, and contribution profit. By looking at it from these three different dimensions, every single person on my team and every brand we work with, we know exactly when it's time to scale. And it makes it much easier to scale because we're looking at what is the net benefit that the business is actually getting when we spend more money. Now let's dive into each one. All right, so in-platform kill rules is pretty simple. If you've been around an ad account, whether Google or Meta, we should all know what that is. Right, so you have return on ad spend and you have CP, cost per acquisition, right? Here's cost per result. Here is your ROAS, right? Pretty simple. This helps us to get confirmation on when to kill ads, when to kill ad sets, when to kill campaigns. Now I'm going to tell you right now, we often will do some kind of a correlation between the in-platform ROAS and the health of the business overall. And so we only use it to kill stuff, not when to scale, because I can't tell you how many stories where in-platform ROAS looks terrible, but the business is absolutely crushing that we've seen. Let's talk about marketing efficiency ratio. So it's a very simple metric. If you've never heard of that before, this is going to really help you. It's simply calculated as gross sales divided by marketing spend. And what this does is, if you know your numbers as a business, it takes into account your overheads, it takes into account all your other costs. And so as long as you come up with the right target for your MER, it's a really great North Star metric to determine I can scale, but I can't go below this MER threshold, which means this is like either my break even and this is my target to guarantee if I want 10% net profit, 15% net profit. And we work with every single brand we work with to come up with a very exact MER target so that it includes the net profit that they want at the end of the day. But it's an amazing North Star metric, which is why when we're scaling, we're always looking at MER first, and then we'll look at the other confirmation biases, which I show you in a second. Then you have new customer marketing efficiency ratio. So I love this one because it's like MER. The only difference is it only looks at new customer revenue. This is actually probably my favorite one. The reason why is because we believe advertising's job is to drive new customer revenue. And if you want returning customer revenue, that is product, that's customer service, that's also customer experience, and it's also new product, right? So AMER is new customer gross sales, only the new customer revenue, divided by marketing spend. Because what this does is it kind of takes out returning customer revenue and it gives us a really great almost one-to-one of how well is our marketing efforts actually contributing to net new revenue or incrementality. This is my favorite one. If you had to pick one metric besides in platform, I would say pick AMER, because it actually is a metric you use for incrementality. You can also do like contribution profit, but I'm gonna say AMER because it's for ads incrementality, and that's why I love it so much. Okay, the next one is percentage of new customer revenue. So we look at this a lot because, like I said again, we believe advertising's job is to drive new customers. And then those other things I mentioned's job is to drive returning customers. Why I love this metric so much to look at it every single day is essentially it's telling me over a period of time, are my ads doing what they're supposed to be doing? Because if new customer revenue starts to increase to 80%, 90%, 95%, unless I'm scaling a lot, what that tells me is I have a returning customer problem. So it's not my ads are the problem. It's, hey, it's all those other efforts I mentioned. But if we see new customer revenue diving, and it goes from this brand, 70s and 80s based on how much we're spending, to 40s, 30s, 20s, I have an ad problem, a big ad problem. And I love it to look like this because it allows us to spot it daily, number one. But then number two is, for example, there's a brand that we worked with for some time and everything was going great that we thought on the ad side, but they came to us saying that, hey, I'm losing out on profit. I'm kind of nervous. So we said, okay, so we pulled up our daily reporting sheet and we showed that, hey, new customer revenue, our AMER is holding constant. Our new customer revenue is increasing and went from a 60% now to a 90%. And then a metric I'll show you in a moment, our new customer CPA was also holding constant. So we didn't have an ad problem. The ads were actually doing amazing. They had a massive returning customer problem. And so ads can't fix a returning customer problem. That is the other things that I mentioned. So that's why I like to track it, because it gives us a really good barometer of, are ads doing this job? Is returning customer revenue doing what it's supposed to be doing? Then we have a great, thriving, healthy business. All right, the next one is, I mentioned this already, new customer CPA or new customer cost per acquisition. I also really like this one because, again, this tells us how well are our ads doing their job. And how you calculate this is total marketing spend divided by new customer orders. That's it. And you only look at new customers because, again, when we're working with our brands, we're often setting targets on incrementality of cost to acquire just a new customer. Because once we know the lifetime value, it's very easy to calculate what that's going to turn into. And that's a really great metric that we use. And again, we track it every single day because this helps to, if you look at side by side, so here's new customer revenue, here's AMER, here's NCPA. There's a reason we put these side by side because it tells us, are the ads or acquisition or whatever acquisition a brand is using to drive new customers, is it doing its job? So you can see right here, man, for the most part, it is extremely constant. 71, 71, 72, 74. AMER just looking great, looking healthy. NCPA, cost to acquire a new customer, just looking great. Then what happens? All of a sudden, there's just a massive spike. And that's from a different marketing effort. A bunch of influencers got on board for this brand and drove the cost for a new customer all the way down, which is amazing. So again, it just helps us point to what is the problem or what's working and what's not working. And I love those side by side. And the last one is profit. So you can do, we also track daily profit or contribution profit, whatever is important to that brand. And I like this again side by side because you're measuring what matters. There's no point in scaling a brand if you're actually not making them any money. So how you can do contribution profit is sales minus your cost of goods minus marketing spend equals that daily profit. And why my team loves this is because all of these numbers side by side that I mentioned so far in this video, it tells you, dude, spend more money. Don't spend more money. Maybe you need to pull back money. And unless you're doing this, you're probably just guessing. And that's why I hate when I see brands that scale, they don't make any money. I hate that. Because if you are all aligned and you have the right metrics and you're measuring what matters, I mentioned that earlier, you will know when it's time to scale. Because it's very easy to know what is actually driving incrementality for the business, what is actually increasing the business. And as long as you're all aligned, it makes it very easy to make scaling decisions. That is it. That is how we scale brands. Is yes, partly in the ad account. It's also the amazing ads that we make. But a big part is we're measuring the right things every single day that tell us the signals of when to kill things, when to scale things. And hey, everything is actually driving net new revenue, net new profit for the business. So let's keep scaling. Hope that's helpful to you guys. Make sure you use it. It will make your marketing better. It will also make your ad performances better and actually give you better performance overall because you're looking at the right things. Make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, because every week I reveal secrets of how we scale brands. See you on the next one.